Good day everyone. Today I will discuss the lesson 4 in integrated marketing communication, which is the creative briefs and the creative process. In this chapter, we will focus about the creative briefs and the creative concept. What is creative briefs? A creative brief is a short 1 to 2 page document outlining the strategy for a creative project. Think of it as a map that guides its target audience, the creative team, on how to best reach the campaign's stated goals. The creative brief is usually created by the account manager in close consultation with the client. To that effect, it's an interpretation of the client's idea and vision for the brand and the product. Since this brief is usually created, and for the agency, it is open-ended in nature. You can and you should include anything and everything that will help the creative team understand the brand and the product better. Most creative briefs include the following: a short brand statement, a brief overview of the campaign's background and objectives, key challenges that the campaign aims to resolve, target audience for the campaign, chief competitors, primary message describing the brand's value and market positioning, and communication channel on which the campaign will run. These are the example of the creative brief. Who creates the creative brief? Normally, the person responsible for managing the client relationship makes the creative brief. Usually, this is the account manager or the project manager. This person works closely with the client to understand their requirements, their current situation, and the desired future outcomes. Actually, putting together the brief, however, isn't a one-person job. You usually need input from a range of people such as creative team, marketing team, and the accounts team. Creative team that whether the client's vision is viable and the brainstorm creative ideas. The marketing team is to gather customer data, analyze competitors, and develop viable media strategy. And accounts team is to analyze the budget. Who is the creative brief made for? It might surprise you to learn that the end user of the creative brief isn't the client, rather it is the creative team. While you certainly need for the client's approval on the brief to get the go ahead, the people who actually use it are your creative team. Your job is to interpret the client's vision in such a way that is accessible to the creative team. This means no fluff and no marketers speak. Create a brief in such a way that the designer and developer can understand it. At the same time, the creative brief is not the answer to the client's problem. It is a starting point to inspire your team. It should have just enough insight to challenge your team and get them to think creatively about the problem. As one commentator points out, it's always good to ask yourself, are you confident that this brief inspires a solution to our problem? There are 5 elements of an effective creative brief: the product, the business, the market, customers, and the campaign. The product creative campaign starts and ends with the product. After all, this is what you've tasked with selling. If you don't understand it well, you should expect your creative team to do a good job for it. Start by asking the client some fundamental question about the product, like what product are you advertising, what category does it belong, where the product currently being sold, where is being advertised, where will it be advertised in the future, What is the product current status in the market? What are the product's existing brand values? What is the product price point? And how many variants are currently available? Your goal is to map the product's current brand perception. This will be a combination of factors: price, quality, perceived quality. Use the client existing records, survey, and the customer data to understand the product and its better. The second is the business. The business and the product can often have a complex relationship. In some cases, the business might be completed independent of the product. In most other cases, they might affect each other in symbiotic relationship. For to date, Toyota, the company, and Toyota Camry, the car, have different brand perception. A customer might see Toyota as reliable and efficient, but he might see Camry as unreliable after a spate of recalls. Business and product brand perception often bleed into each other. If a customer has repeated bad experience with the product, he might associate that with the business itself. The exemption is when the business is invisible to the customer. Your goal should be to analyze the business brand perception, understand the business relationship to the product brand, and map the factors affecting the business brand perception. In that creative brief, this information will be a core part of the campaign's background section. The third one is the market. The market is a combination of 3 C's: competitors, context for the campaign, and the category. Competitors, their strength, weaknesses, market position, and media strategy. While the context for campaign, political, social, and technological movement. Category is how people see the product category. All these have marked influence on the campaign. Similarly, an overly positive, upbeat campaign wouldn't work in a down economy. Your goal should be analyze the following aspect of the market. In competitors, what are the products and the brand chief competitors? What is their market share compared to the product? What is the competition's marketing strategy? Where do they advertise? What kind of messaging and tone does the competition use? What kind of customers buy the competitor's product? And in context, how does the market currently see the product or its category? Is there a cultural moment you can tap into promote the product? What cultural values, ideas, or events can you align the product with? How is economy doing? Is it a time for optimism or of people concerned with saving? That is for the market. And when we say the customers, it is very important, more so than anything else in this list. A deep understanding of target audience, its wants, desire, and taste is crucial for writing a creative brief. To do this, start by describing the following: demographic data, psychographic data, what they think about the product and the brand right now, what you want them to think about the brand, frustration, aspirations, life need, and shared belief you can tap into. The process of all this data is to find a trigger that will motivate them. This trigger should align with the campaign's objective. And lastly, the last element is about the campaign. Every campaign has a specific goal, message, and the audience. It is uncommon for brands to run several campaigns at the same time with different messages. Your job is to understand the goals for your campaign and find out to get there. That is to define the campaign strategy and the approach. To do this, answer the following questions. What is the campaign trying to do? Increase awareness, increase traffic, get more shares, be specific as possible. What customer action would make the campaign successful? Fill out a form, click a link, call the business. What specific challenge in the campaign trying to address? State this in a single sentence. Example, we want to advertise new features to get more trials. What is your media strategy? Where will the campaign run? And what is the chief message for the entire campaign? Your goal is to find a driving idea for campaign and where to run it. What is a creative concept? A creative concept is an overarching big idea that captures audience interest, influences their emotional response, and inspires them to take action. It is unifying theme that can be used across all campaign messages, calls to action, communication channels, and the audiences. Typically, the creative concept is embodied in headline, tagline, and a key visual. Successful creative concepts are distinctive, memorable, unifying, and relevant. Some examples include Nike, that is Just Do It campaign, the Got Milk campaign, and the Red Ribbon campaign. Creative concepts are based on the communication strategy and the creative brief. This ensures that the concepts are informed by strong understanding of the situation and the audience, the channels that will be used, the objective the campaign seeks to reach, the benefits the audience will respond to. The creative team develop multiple creative concepts based on this information and then concept test them to determine which one resonates best with the audience. Why develop a creative concept? In today's business and constantly changing communication environment, social and behavioral change communication must be creative and strategic to compete with commercial advertising and capture the audience attention. The creative concept shapes the core of SBCC campaign, which helps create consistently across messages and materials. Developing creative concept is also important because it allows the team to test which benefit is most appealing to the audience, see the campaign will work or not across multiple media concepts, identify an idea that ties the whole campaign together, reach the audience more effectively by finding big ideas that resonate with them. Who should generate the creative concept? There are different approaches to generating concept. One approach is to outsource creative development to an advertising or creative agency. The creative agency develops several concepts and tests them with the audience. Often, a committee made up of SBCC and the government professionals reviews the concept and makes a final decision based on the concept test result and campaign objectives. Another option is to hold a design workshop with multiple stakeholders, includes SBCC professionals, technical, topical expert, service delivery partners, government official, multi-sectoral bodies, audience members, and a creative team included a creative directors, graphic designers, illustrator, script writers, copywriters, producers, actors, and musicians. During the design workshop, the participants review the creative brief and hold creative concept brainstorming session. The team needs a leader and it's sometimes helpful, so I have a creative expert facilitate to the exercise. When should the creative concept be developed? The creative brief marks the beginning of the creative process and acts as a creative contract, agreed upon all partners. The creative brief provides a roadmap for developing the creative concept. Materials and activities are developed based on the winning creative concept. And that's all for today. Thank you.